NinjaTrader comes packed with drawing tools, but only a handful of them do the real heavy lifting for serious chart analysis. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 5, what each one does, when to use them, and how to add them to your charts in just a few clicks. Whether you're brand new or you've been trading for years, there's a good chance at least one of these will become a part of your daily routine. So let's take a look. The first tool we're going to focus on is just a regular basic horizontal straight line. Nice and easy. And that's the first drawing tool that all of my coaching clients learn how to use. In the very first homework assignment, they're using this very specific drawing tool because we use it every single day in our technical analysis. It's on every single one of my charts, every single time frame, and I use them in different ways based on the time frame that I'm drawing them in. I'm going to show you exactly how that works. First, to find it, go to your drawing tools, go to your pencil up here, click on that, you see line. Okay. Now I have a hotkey set here. Alt-3 is my hotkey to use this. I'll show you how to do all of that later, so this becomes very quick. But for right now, just to learn how to use this, click on the line, and then you just use your right mouse button and you can draw it. You can do whatever you want, right? So wherever you started is the first axis and it just stays there. Now, if you want this to be level from the very beginning, all you have to do is hold shift while you draw it. All right, hold shift and you draw it and it just stays level wherever you started it. Okay, so that's a helpful tool. It's actually something I didn't know about until recently. Clients like, hey, dum-dum, you can just hold shift. But if you want to, and this is what I do, I've got this color picker plus up here. I think that's a ocean trading indicator. And so if I draw a line and it's not level, say this one, I'll make it pink. I just click this button and it levels it out for me. So you can do that, or you can just hold shift. All right, so once we have this thing, that's all there really is to it as far as populating on your chart. Now, I like to have my lines when I draw them like this, a thin white line. In order to make sure that this looks the way you want it to look every time you draw it, double click on that line. And here you can change the properties. You can change the way this looks. Color of it, you can make it lime, whatever. Let's make it a different color. You can make it a different style, dash, dash, dot. Let's do dash for now. And then the width, you can change that as well. And so there we go. I just changed all those things. Now, if you like this line the way it's drawn right now and you want all your lines to look like this, all you got to do is once you're done setting up your properties for it, go to template, hit save, and then save as default. And every time you draw a line, it's going to look the way that you've saved it. Okay, my default is just this, a thin white line. And then if I want to change it to look like what I have here on my 60-minute chart, for me, I just use this tool up here, Color Picker Plus. It's a very handy drawing tool. Indicator, by the way, I might as well link that in this video as well, so you guys can go get it if you want. So you have this all set. You have your template, right click, save it however you want it, save it as your template, and you're good to go. Now, I use this, of course, for support and resistance lines. That's how most people are going to be using horizontal lines. So how are we going to set this? Like all these lines here on my 60-minute chart, starting from the top all the way down, they're set at very specific to the tick points so that I know how and where to trade around them. This is an oil chart. We're going to go from my 60-minute chart to a tick chart so you can see how this horizontal line plays out on different time frames. So let's say, for example, I want to trade around this level here. Okay. I see that pivot. I like it for a couple of different reasons. It filled in this gap halfway, nice structure breaking pivot. So what I need to do is draw a line. So we're just going to get rid of this and we're going to redraw it and say I want to trade around this. So what I need to do is just draw a line from there. You can hold shift if you want, draw it, and you got yourself a straight line. Good to go. Now on my 60-minute charts, I like it to be thicker and dashed, and I like it to be yellow. But the one thing you can't do on a 60-minute chart very easily is find the exact tick where that line is by sight. I mean, you can kind of zoom in and find it, but still you're not going to be able to tell, is it 67? Is it 69? Is it 72? There's just too much space there for us to figure out exactly which tick to put this line on, unless we use our data box up here. See this thing here? It's our data box. Click on this, and then you can just hover your crosshair, your mouse on the bar you're looking for, and it gives you all the information about that bar. So now we want the high, so we know where to put this line, and that's 94.70. You can see that the high there in that data box says 94.70. So in order to do that, double click on that line, and then down here in start Y, end Y, this is where the level that the line starts at and the level that the line ends at. And we want it to be level at 94.7. So you can just make sure that it's exactly 94.7 in both of those, and hit OK. And now it's exactly where you want it to be on your 60-minute chart. Well, let's say this is a level I want to trade around. I don't trade on my 60-minute chart. I trade on my tick chart. If I bring my tick chart down and I go to 94.70, let's put this line there, 94.70. You don't see it here, right? 94.70, it's not there. So how do we make this visible on our tick chart so we can trade around it? First of all, you just go click on your chart, make sure it's level where you want 94.70. Attach to, see this box here, attach to, right now, this line's drawing object is only attached attached to your 60-minute charts, what you want to do is attach it to CL all charts. So whatever contract you're trading, CL July, all charts, if I click that, hit OK, now on my tick chart, you can see it's right up here because I've populated it across all charts. All right, that's great. Now, this is now a place, that level that I can trade around. I see it on my tick chart. So if I want to take an entry somewhere around here, you can see that it bounced off. Maybe I'm looking for some kind of liquidity sweep or whatever. Either way, the line is there and you don't have to go back and forth looking between your 60-minute chart and your tick chart to make sure you see the right line. Just attach it to all charts. The other thing you should probably do immediately when you draw your line, once it's set where you want it to be, 94.7, is lock it. See this locked box? All right, lock it up, hit OK. Now I can't move it at all. So a lot of times what'll happen is, let's say it's not locked and you want to you're just trying to scroll your chart and you accidentally click a drawing tool and all of a sudden now it's gone. Not gone, but you just moved it after doing all that work of measuring it where you want it to be. So remember, 94.7 is where you want it. Just lock it, call it a day. Cool. So that's how you want to do that. And now you can see it on your 60-minute chart as well. So this level here, 92.52 and 94.70, I have both on my tick chart right here. 92.52, 94.70. Now I can trade around those on my tick chart. I can see them. I don't have to go back and forth looking between to make sure I'm trading at the right level. I don't have to draw it a second time on my tick chart. It's just there. Definitely lock those lines in though, so that you don't accidentally move them around. And I absolutely would say attach them to all your charts so you can see them across all time frames. Now, if you have one monitor, let's say you're trading on a laptop or even just two monitors, this helps tremendously so you're not having to go back and forth between windows, especially when the market's moving, you're ready to place a trade and you're getting all messed up about which window is which. So populate these things across all charts. That way you don't have to worry about double checking yourself on a different window on one monitor and confusing yourself, right? This just helps reduce human error essentially. And you can do the same thing in reverse too. You can put tick chart lines on your 60-minute or higher time frame charts as well. You're just doing the reverse. You draw it on your tick chart. Like for example, this gold line I have here. This gold chart, see this yellow line here? That is a resistance line. Looks like it's taken out some stops above it now. There might be a trade underneath there here in a second. But regardless, if you want to see this on your 60-minute chart, you just do the same thing. Double click, put it on all charts. I would lock it for sure again, just to make sure it's where you need it to be. And then you go to your 60-minute chart. You can see it's smaller because of just the time frame, but there it is right there. And you can just make it longer as well. Actually, if you just do this, you can change that. Where does it end? Right now it ends today at about 6 p.m. What if we change that, make it longer? Let's make it to June 6th, hit OK. And now it's longer on your 60-minute chart. It goes all the way to June 6th. So you can see it as it correlates with other line. Maybe there's some reason I want to see where this yellow line fits in with this blue 60-minute line up here. That's a way you can just populate it across all charts, see them everywhere. You're not second guessing. Now, drawing tools, they're just there to make sure that we can understand what the market is saying. It makes the market make sense to us visually. It's the only way we can see what price is trying to tell us, right? Is if we draw the market in a way that makes sense to our brains. Okay, so horizontal lines, big deal. We use them all the time, and this is why. Now, so you know how to draw your horizontal lines, you know how to populate them across all charts. You know why that matters, because you want to be able to analyze not only in the long term, right, but also in the short term. Quickly draw them, see where it correlates across all time frames. Very easy way to do that. Okay, there actually is. We did get a trade there under that line. So this is why you want to be able to draw them quickly, right? So just draw this line, and this is a way to see what the market is trying to tell us, right? That there is actual resistance there. That's where you want to mark it. So you just do it. You do it quickly, attach them to all your charts. You can see them everywhere and trade them immediately. Now I'm in a trade now. I was able to draw that line within seconds, have it leveled, make it exactly where I want it to be so that I could trade around it. How do we do that? What's the best way that we can use this in practice so that we can trade around these lines if we see something quickly and see something we need to mark very quickly? I'm going to set hotkeys. Okay, so let's set our hotkeys first, and then I can show you how to do it. Also attach them to your mouse so you have a quick mouse shortcuts. But if you go to your drawing tools here, you can see that right now my hotkey is Alt-3. So in order to set our hotkeys, we need to use our control center first of all. So go to your control center, go to tools and then hotkeys, and then scroll down to drawing, all the way down, drawing. And just find the drawing tool you want. Line right here, line. Click to record. Once you click on that, it's recording. You can just set whatever line you want. Mine's Alt-3, good to go. And then it's all good. You just close that out. You hit your Alt-3, and now you're drawing lines with a click of some fingers. Now you can also set this this to your mouse, especially for me, I have a Logitech mouse and that just comes with the Logitech software. Totally cool. Even quicker because I just press one of the buttons on this mouse and it draws a line for me. I don't have to even use my other hand, which is helpful. So we've got our line. You know how to use it. You know how to draw it. You know how to set it exactly to the right level. You know how to populate it across all charts. And now you have it set as a hotkey so you can do it quickly and draw lines and be able to trade around them. Here it is quickly, right? So that's how we like to do it. Now on to the next. We're going to keep this simple. Now remember, I went to school for drums, so we can't get too complicated here. And simplicity is your edge in the market. You know that's how I feel. So the next tool we're going to look at is just a straight up rectangle. All right. Now I'm going to show you how I use it, how you might want to use it, and a couple different variations of why it might be helpful for you. First of all, I use this to draw out my stops. So example, for this trade that I'm in now, this gold trade, hit my first target. So now I'm automatically break even, right? So in order to make sure I know what my stop size was when this started, I draw out my stop size with my rectangle. Okay. So we make this go away. You just go to your rectangle over here. I don't even know where it is on this list because I hotkey rectangle. All right, that's set as Alt-2 for me. All right, get a rectangle. You just draw it however you want to do it. Right? Okay. So because I'm drawing a stop, I'm going to go up and down and I'm going to measure that by about 30 or 33 ticks, depending on what the market's doing at the time, what the ATR is. So let's measure this exactly. ATR is 11. So I would do 33 ticks. There we go. So there's my stop. Got it drawn out. Now, again, how you want this to look every time you draw it, it's totally up to you. Double click, go to properties and you just change it. You can do outlines and opacity. So if I change the opacity to like 10, for example, you're going to be able to basically see all the way through it now. It was 40 to give that color, you know, the body there, some color. Do it however you want to do it. Oh, the outline is here too. So if you want an outline, you can put it there. If not, make it transparent. Makes the outline go away. I like to have the outline, just make it white. So again, once you have that set how you want to set it, hit template, save as default, good to go. Every time you draw a rectangle, then it's going to look exactly how you want it to look. All right, so I use this every single day to draw out my stop. It's really important. If you don't use stops, use stops. It's the only way you're going to keep yourself in this game over the long haul, okay? Know where the trade ends. For me, this trade would have ended. I had it not gone in my direction, right up here. I put this blue line up here so you can see that's where my stop was. So I measure it out so I can see where it is before I place my trade. I want to make sure, let's say in this example, I wanted to have structure inside of my stop. See all these swings? I like this in this entrance, in this kind of entry for me, I needed to have some of the structure inside my stop. So if I draw my stop out, I can see whether or not I have that. And if I don't, cool, but I did. But I only really just to make sure you draw your stop to make sure that that's the case. So you're not just doing the math in your head. Okay. So that's one way to use, that's how I use it on my tick chart. Okay. Now, again, I use these same tools in different ways for different time frames. So now let's go to the 60-minute chart. On my 60-minute chart, you can see I have one right here sticking with gold. Now, one of the things I like to mark out is fair value gaps. I call them price pockets because I like alliteration and it's fewer syllables. Again, went to school for drums. So price pocket to me, the price has not come back and retraced inside this here. So I like to mark those out. So this is now I'm going to use a combination of these drawing tools. The first one is the line that we just did, right? Now, let's say for this, that bounced off this line here, right? That's where it bounced. Now, for me, that means that because of that bounce, we've got ourselves, not only do we have this price pocket or fair value gap here, we also have this line that's been shown a lot of respect, lots of bounces, 1, 2, 3. So I expect a lot of what we just saw on the tick chart. Oh, I have it drawn out already right here. Take out some stops, fill in the price pocket or fair value gap, and then go south from there. All right. So that's why I have this rectangle drawn on my 60-minute chart, is to make sure that I understand where the price pockets are. Okay. And really it matters to me, especially when there's a 60-minute line run right under it. There's another price pocket here you could mark. Now, again, because I use my stops, I draw those out more than I do these price pockets. I'll just change the properties and make this whatever color I want it to be so that it looks good. I like to have opacity pretty light on these so I can see through it. All right. So that's how I use them on my 60-minute chart. I don't necessarily populate this across all charts. It's just really so I can visually see it on my 60-minute chart. I don't necessarily need that on my smaller time frame chart. That's how I use it. Now, another version of this is region highlight, X and Y. So X and Y is the axis, of course. So your X axis, you can just highlight whole regions of your chart. This goes on infinity throughout your chart. So you can do that here instead of drawing one out. If you didn't want to do that, you could just use this. Now, I don't use this very often, but you could, and just draw it here and good to go. Now that just goes all the way back. I like to have mine just a little bit cleaner. It's just a little noisy for me. So I like to draw mine out and have it just in a very specific spot, right? But those things do exist, rectangle versions where they just kind of map out a thing for you. You don't have to draw it. It just kind of populates all the way across your chart. And that's how I use my rectangles. I use this every day, different time frames to mark out areas and all that. I'm gonna show you how to use this now on a higher time frame, and we're gonna go to our third tool we're gonna talk about, and it's the path tool, okay? Another drawing tool. All right, so let's do this both. Now, here's my rectangle here on my daily. We'll make that go away because I'll draw that and show you why it's there in a second. So for your path tool, this is something you can just draw just angles, right? You can see, you can just do that. You do whatever you want. Make a whole path, right? So if you're looking to draw out, like, let's say I expect the market to do this, and then come back in. Maybe you draw that so it's on your chart. You're like, well, that's one plausible scenario for price. I just want to keep track of it. The other is for classical chart patterns. I love them. I'm not a position trader. I do love classical chart patterns. It helps me with directional bias and all of that. So for example, in gold, we have what one might consider a triangle here. So I can just use my path tool instead of drawing two lines and trying to connect them. I just draw a path tool. Nice and easy. My triangle is drawn. Because if I didn't use that, I would have to use two lines here and just do this, and then do it again, and then find a way to connect them, right? And how to do it. And instead of doing that, you just use your path tool so it's one motion, one line, and everything is where it needs to be. And you can just, all you got to do in order to adjust it is click on this. There you go. And just drag the front until all the lines line up. You're good to go. Okay, so now if you are a position trader and you want to trade this triangle, you're going to be waiting to see when and if it breaks out of that triangle. Once it does, that's going to be an indication of the potential directional bias you're going to have. And there are price objectives with each classical chart pattern for the triangle. What you do is you measure, and this is how I use the rectangle on my daily chart, is you measure the base of the triangle, top to bottom. All right, so I do that with my rectangle because the easiest drawing tool to do that with. Then I just bring that over, and this would be the price objective if this triangle breaks to the downside. And this is oil, it's not gold. I think I said gold earlier. This is oil. So, and that's how you measure these price objectives. For me, I use the path tool, and then I use my rectangle to see where price might be going if it does break to the downside of this triangle. And if it breaks to the upside, you just put it here, right? Cool. So that's how I use them on my daily chart. It's how I use the path tool on my daily chart. And on my nightly analysis, which, by the way, I make available to anybody who wants it. It's just a monthly subscription. I use this path tool all the time to show my clients what I'm looking for the next day. So for example, I had this drawn out here, right, on my gold 60-minute. So I'm thinking that that might happen. So I have it written down. Let's say for this 60-minute line, I expect this to come up and then back under, right? So this path tool is very helpful for me in analyzing the market, putting down all of the different scenarios that I think are plausible to be looking for in the coming session. And so the path tool is something that I use every day in different ways, drawing classical chart patterns, drawing where I think price might go so that I can be prepared for it. And again, I do this every night for you if you want it. All of my coaching clients get it. You don't have to be a coach client to get it. You can just sign up for the Daily Futures Playbook. I send a nightly analysis to you every single night, multiple charts, multiple markets, so you can see how I'm looking at the markets and where I think trades might be happening. All right, that's how I use the path tool. It's how I use the rectangle tool on my larger time frame, okay? So those are the combination of those tools. You can see so far, the lines and the rectangles have worked together. The path and the rectangle has worked together, and all these tools kind of intertwine to be used correctly for technical analysis. Okay, the next thing I want to go to is the Fibonacci Retracement tool. You're probably using this wrong, nothing personal. The Fibonacci sequence, I feel like, makes people feel smart because it's cool. It's like it's math and a lot of numbers, and it is beautiful. If you're into math, it's a beautiful little sequence and all of that. However, it doesn't mean as much to trading as people think it does, in my humble opinion. So you should look up Larry Williams, a legendary trader. He did a study, 15, 30 years of data, went back to see which Fibonacci lines did the market most retrace back to, which one of those retracement levels did it most interact with? And the answer was none of them. None of them were interacted with more than anything else. It was just all kind of random, right? So that's not how I use the Fibonacci retracement lines, but I do use them. I'm going to show you how I use them. Okay, so let's just see here. First of all, let's just get the tool out, show you how I want you to set this up if you're going to use it. Fibonacci retracements, that's what we want. Extensions I don't use, time extensions I don't use, circle I don't use. All of this is too much fluff. It makes things too complicated, but I do use the Fibonacci retracements. All right, so if you hit this tool, now when you use this, if you were just use it now, the way it's set up on NinjaTrader, you're going to have 1,000 different lines on this. All right, so I'll show you how it normally looks is is you have these price levels and you can just add a bunch of these to it. All right. My default setup for this is only to have 0%, 50%, and 100%. I don't use any of the 36.8, 60 point, blah, 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 72.95, whatever they are. Don't care. I don't use them. I use 3 points, 0, 50, and 100%. So all of those price levels that you would have on this, just delete them and only have 0, 50, and 100. And here's how I use this. Generally, I'm just using to see if things are equidistant from each other. It's very simple. Or if I think the range might double, okay? So it's essentially a measurement tool to find blocks of price action for you to try to like essentially predict where things might go. So for example, let's say, I'll use my rectangle to show you this range that we have in gold. Let's say I expect this range to double to the downside. Let's do that. I would take my Fibonacci retracement tool, put it on this top line, the top line of my range, bring it down, and then put the 50% on the bottom line of the range. And then this down here would be the 0%. That is where the double the range would officially end over there, okay? So you just use that tool essentially just to measure things that might be equidistant from each other, how to find out what those levels might be. Very simple tool. I use this on my tick chart too, so go back to this trade. Now this trade I would not have liked to take had it moved too far down below this line. I would not have wanted to keep my entry up here, right? Okay, you might remember my entry was up here. If it had moved too far without me, trade, I would have considered to have done its move without me. So that's cool. But I generally have a measurement for what that is. And usually it's about equidistant of the move below. Right? So if the move above, if it moves equidistant then below that line, I usually consider that a sign that I'm probably not going to be involved in this trade anymore. In order to measure that, generally I just use my Fibonacci tool. It's the most exact way to do it. Pretty easy. You can just set that there and good to go. So the Fibonacci retracement tool is nothing about predicting where price might go. It's about using it to measure exact equidistant moves essentially in the market. Very simple. And that's really all I use it for. Okay, what have we covered so far? We have the horizontal line, we have the rectangle, with the path, Fibonacci retracements, and now for the last one, the measurement tool. It's a ruler. Okay, so let's go back to our 60. Drawing tools, ruler right up here up front. So this is helpful for measuring how far price has moved, how far levels might be away from each other. I use this every day, especially for a certain trade entry I have where I need to measure price needs to move a certain distance away from a line in order to take the trade. So for example, let's say I want to trade on top of this yellow line and I need price to go like 88 ticks or something. I can just use my ruler, go to 88 ticks. And then when price gets up there to 88, then whatever trade that might be, I needed to go 88 ticks before I can put my entry in, whatever. So that way, oh, there you go. And it just went there and my measurement tool was there to show me that that's where it went. Cool. All right. Now, and here is this blue 60-minute line on gold that is now interacting with right here. So you can see, this line here, I'm looking, maybe we have another trade here. Maybe we don't. But that line is there on my 60-minute chart and my tick chart because I've populated it across all charts. It is exact 4519.5. It's on all my charts and I can see it and trade around it now if I so choose. All right. So those are the top 5 drawing tools: your horizontal line, your rectangle, your Fibonacci retracement tool, path, and your ruler. Those are the top 5 that I use every single day. Now, talked about hotkeys. It's one thing you definitely want to have set up. The other is this drawing tool tile. My last tip before letting you guys go, this drawing tool tile, I can just access this by one click of the button, like my line tool here. All I got to do is click over here. In order to do that, you just go to your indicators and scroll down to drawing tool tile. It's right. It comes with NinjaTrader drawing tool tile right there. You add it. And once you add it, you can just click whichever drawing tools you want on your drawing tool tile. And it's there at a click of a button. I don't need extensions. I can make that go away. All right. So there you go. So you can see the ones I use every day. There's an arrow line that's helpful. Extended line that's helpful for my alerts, but the ones that we covered are the ones I use every single day, and they're all here on my drawing tool tile. They all have hotkeys assigned in them. You can see I showed you how to do that. Control Center Tools hotkeys, record them on your drawing tools, and a couple of those I have programmed to my mouse, like because I measure my stop, I've got my rectangle programmed to my mouse, I've got my line programmed to my mouse, and I have my ruler programmed to my mouse. It's all there. One more quick tip, I guess, because we're here. If you're going to set up your things, you just go to Logitech check options. And you can add the app to your Logi options. Thanks for the update. So if I go to my device, you can see I've got Camtasia and I've got NinjaTrader. When I hit NinjaTrader, these keyboard shortcuts are just applied to the mouse itself. So in order to program this to your mouse, you're going to need to have those hotkeys set up anyway. So when you press on this line, this is where my Alt 2, that is my rectangle. All right. So when I press this button on my mouse, my rectangle can draw. Here, Alt 3, that's my line. So I draw a line there. And then this button here, little bitty button down here, is my ruler. All right. So set those hotkeys and then set them on your mouse if you can. Super helpful. Makes things very quick. And again, you saw how that worked. We had a trade happen very quickly here. And I'm glad I got short when I did. Just a nice quick short. And we'll see what happens here with the 60-minute level as price continues to develop. We've got another potential trade here in gold that is going to use every single one of these drawing tools basically that we just talked about, show you how they interact with each other during a trade. So you can see this blue line here, I've got a sell order underneath it. This blue line is a 60-minute line. Now, I drew that on my 60-minute chart here. So you're right there. This blue line right there, right? Put my line here. I measured it at the bottom. I used my data box to get the exact right level. I put it and attached it to all charts so I can see it on my tick chart, all right? So there it is on my tick chart. That blue line is from my 60-minute chart attached to all charts. Great. Next, I have my stop drawn out. Here we go. So I think 33 ticks. So I've got that drawn out. I see that I have a structure inside my stop. I like that for this trade. So that's why I have my stop drawn out. Second, now that we are looking to enter this trade, I want to measure to make sure, like, if this trade goes too far, I'm not going to want to be in it anymore if the price moves too far to the downside. So now I'm going to use my Fibonacci Retracement tool, put it at the very top here. And once we get down to here, about 45.13, I'll probably take my entry out of the market, my order entry, and just not have it there anymore. So I've used my horizontal line, used my properties to change it how I want it to be. I've attached it to all charts so I can see it on my tick chart. Once price interacted with that, I knew exactly where it was on my tick chart. I have to go back and forth. I could just place my order where I wanted it to be in order to see if this trade is setting up the way I like for it to be set up. Now, all of this you can see on my free futures trading checklist. Download it. Check all these boxes to see if this is a trade you want to get into or not. I've got it all laid out for you there, so download that. So I've got my stop drawn out to make sure that that's where it wants to be. And I've used my Fibonacci Retracement tool not to see where price is going to go because it doesn't work that way, but to show me if price goes far enough, I'm not going to want to be participating in the market at this exact moment anymore. All right. So all these drawing tools are working together. One, to show me where I should be entering, right? I labeled my level on my 60-minute chart, support and resistance level. I can see it on my tick chart because I attached it to all time frames. Draw out my stop with a rectangle so that I know if I want to be trading it or not. And then I use my retracement level to see if price goes too far the other direction. Am I really going to be wanting to be in it? Now, this trade was just filled. The order entry, you can see it did not go too far, right? My retracement level is all the way down here. It's about where my first target is at about 2 to 1. And you can see that my stop is right up here where I measured it. Okay. So I've got all these things working together in order to help me enter the trade. And now that I'm in it, I'm just going to let it do what it does. All right. There you go. All those drawing tools working together to help us trade the way we want to be trading. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Top 5 NinjaTrader drawing tools. Shout out to Rob, by the way, one of my subscribers who requested this. All you got to do is ask. I love it. The whole point of this channel is to help you become a better trader. So be like Rob, leave a comment, ask me to make videos that might help you become a better trader. NinjaTrader related, futures trading, just leave a comment. I'd be more than happy to make a video for you. Second, download my futures trading checklist and subscribe to the daily futures playbook so you can get nightly analysis delivered directly to you to show you these levels that I've marked out. Right? That 60-minute level, all of my clients and my subscribers got that level, that blue line we just talked about, because I had it marked and talked about it on my daily futures playbook subscription service. So please do that as well. Stay focused. Check this video out next, how to get ahead of 99% of futures traders starting today. That's going to take you through the daily futures playbook. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.